the Washington Football Maniacs.
And welcome back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs. My name is Greg, and of course, this channel is all about the Washington Commanders. If you're down with that, please consider subscribing. And of course, when you do, activate that notification bell so you won't miss any other video releases. So let's get into this. We had game 2 of the preseason last night, Monday Night Football, in prime time, going against the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. It started off pretty exciting for the Washington Commanders, didn't it? Jayden Daniels, he shined. He shined to that one series that he had. He didn't pass one single pass, did he? But he didn't need to. When he dropped back his one drop back in that series, and he took off, scrambled, ran 14 yards for a touchdown, was very exciting. I know a lot of people, Washington fans, were holding their collective breaths, but it was exciting to see. It wasn't just Jayden Daniels, though. We got to see a little bit of Deebo Samuel, that one little gadget play where he went in motion, the ball's hiked, Jayden Daniels, almost a direct handoff to Deebo Samuel. He took a sweep off to the right there, gained a bunch of yards. And then we saw Bill Merritt having a big night as well. Scored a touchdown, ran the ball really well. Chris Rodriguez ran the ball really well last night. I mean, just a lot that we saw from the offense, from starters to guys who will kind of be like rotating in and out quite a bit. A very good night for some of these guys. Jayden Daniels, of course, he was yanked after that first series. You would have put him in bubble wrap and keep him safe for the regular season. We don't need to see him until we play the Giants. Deebo Samuel, he didn't look fat. He didn't look slow. I don't know what people are talking about. He looked pretty good to me. So, just very exciting to see these guys. Jalen Lane, he's another guy, fellow Hokie. I love the Hokies, right? Jalen Lane played really well, caught several passes last night, looked really good to me, looked like a guy who could come in there and be a wide receiver 3 possibly for the Washington Commanders. I think he's going to be used quite a bit this year, especially with Noah Brown being out. Hopefully we're not talking about Terry McLaurin being out any at all. That to me would just be a nightmare, honestly, to be honest with you. I don't want to even picture that, but I'm so excited. I mean, it's such an electrifying night to see the Commanders starting offense. For the most part, there were still a lot of guys who were out. The defense, I felt like, and someone alluded to this on social media, I felt like there was something different about the defense last night. When the starters were in there, or the guys who are going to play a little bit more, I don't know if you'd actually call all of these guys starters in week 1, but I mean, the guys came in, played really well, got a lot of pressure to Joe Burrow, got a lot of pressure to Browning. I mean, I thought the defensive front played pretty solid football. Secondary with Noah Igby. I'm just going to call him Igby. He kind of looked a little bit more like Benjamin St-Juste last night. He kind of got burnt a few times. Price, another guy who kind of had an off night and didn't play very well. So it does start to make you question the secondary depth. But I'll say, when you talk about the secondary as the starters, I think we're going to have one of the best secondaries in the league. Of course, I was a little taken back by the fact that we didn't see Trey Amos last night. I'm certain that John Keim has probably said something about it. I haven't been able to check social media today. This week has been ridiculous at work, but I was really hoping to see a little bit more Trey Amos. So I was a little disappointed with that, but still, I think that we're going to have one of the best secondaries in the league. Now, as far as the big news goes last night, and we're not talking about Terry McLaurin, although we do have a little bit to say about him and a little bit further on the video, but Brian Robinson, came to a mutual agreement between Brian Robinson and the coaching staff that he would not play last night. And that pretty much sums it up that he is not going to be on this Washington squad. Now, I would love it for the Commanders to be able to get some sort of draft pick for him, to have some sort of trade, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Honestly, I think they're going to wind up cutting him straight out. He's still going to be a good player and a good back for somebody, but I just don't see him being a running back one anywhere else. Honestly, you were always kind of waiting for Brian Robinson to really have a breakout season, and you'd have times where you felt like, okay, let's just give him the ball a little bit more. He will have like a good run here and there, but you never really felt like he was the type of back who could take a game over. And you may ask, well, do we really need that? Because we already have a player in Jayden Daniels who can take a game over. Do we need the running back to do the same? Well, let me tell you, if you really want to get the most out of Jayden Daniels, you want a good, solid running game. And right now, if you look at who's in the backfield, who's played really well in preseason, and just guys that you know are going to contribute quite a bit during the regular season, you got Bill Merritt. Yes, he was a 7th-round draft pick, but really, honestly, all intents and purposes, he was more of a 3rd-round talent. But you got him. You got Austin Eckler, Chris Rodriguez. Now, some people kind of bagged on him because they're like, he's been cut twice. Well, who were the ones doing the cutting? Now, they picked him back up last year and played him some, and he took advantage of his opportunities. Some people, of course, were like, I don't know, he has a fumble problem. I don't think he had as much of a fumble problem as what Antonio Gibson did when he was here. But I have always liked Chris Rodriguez, and I've always questioned, why are we not playing him more? So I hope that if that turns out to be the running back by committee, so to speak, Bill Merritt being RB1, Chris Rodriguez, Austin Eckler. Actually, Austin Eckler would probably be RB2. Chris Rodriguez, Jeremy McNichols is in there as well. That's still a pretty solid backfield, in my opinion. And I think you could do a lot with that group of guys. But Bill Merritt, I think, is going to be something special. I just see something in him. A lot of people saw it too. This guy's decisive. He's quick. He's shifty. I really can see him blowing open a lot of running lanes this year and doing some home run runs, right? So I really think he's going to be an exciting player. Now, something that is not so exciting to talk about is who's going to be the quarterback in the 3rd string. We feel like Marcus Mariota, of course, is going to be the guy at 2, although we haven't seen him at all. He's still been nursing some injuries. So if he can't go, you really need to be able to trust your third string quarterback. And let's just face it, I'm sorry, ladies, but Sam Hartman may. I think I made the comment. Sam Hartman will look really good in Hallmark, but he is not going to look good on the football field, and he has struggled this preseason. He's just really struggled. He's not looked good. His throws have just been weird. It's just I can't put my finger on it. It just feels like his throws have just been, I don't know. It's like he's throwing it too hard. It doesn't. His passes just look awful to me, and he's not accurate. He's made bad decisions. He's thrown some interceptions, especially he couldn't even do a 2-minute offense last night. Dan Quinn put him back in the game right before the half to run a 2-minute offense, and he went 3 and out. And I think just that kind of just sums up the whole thing with Sam Hartman. Josh Johnson on the other end has looked pretty good. I think he has a solid case to claim that QB3 position. He's made a few mistakes, but for the most part, he's made some really good throws. I think that he is definitely someone that you could depend on if, God forbid, Jayden Daniels went down, Marcus Mariota was hurt. Josh Johnson could come in and play well for you. And so right now, I would probably say that it's likely Josh Johnson will get that QB3 position. But there's one more preseason game, and there's still cuts. There's still time to do some cuts. So, Sam may have one final stand to make. But I think even if he played well in that final preseason game, I can't see how you would go any other direction other than Josh Johnson at 3. So, overall, yeah, the game last night when the starters were in there, you could see we're back, baby. We are back. Everyone was saying it online. We are back. Depth, you're still kind of trying to figure that out. I felt like the defense played pretty hard for the most part all night, but they just couldn't. They couldn't get off the field on third down, and they allowed Cincy to just keep moving downfield. Even when it was like 3rd and 13, they would convert. So that was a little disappointing there. You feel like you have Cincinnati Bengals on the ropes. You need to get them off the field, but then they couldn't really get much going on in the offense either when Sam Hartman was in. That's the reason why they're in the third string category, right? I mean, you're going to see some more sloppy games, sloppy play when the third stringers are in there. Now, others to note, Reeves continues to work pretty hard, continues to earn more time playing on defense, and I love seeing that. Jeremy has been the consummate professional for the Washington Commanders. He's been there, one of the guys who's been there the longest, along with Tressway. And I am so happy to see Reeves get more playing time. The man deserves it. He is such a special thing for the Washington Commanders. Somebody else who I think is going to be special is Quan Martin. He continues to make plays, man. He plays as if it's the playoffs. And I like that about Quan. And he just, every time he's in there, he makes plays. And so Quan has really become one of my favorites. And when you start talking about that secondary, yeah, you're talking about Trey Amos, you're talking about Marshawn Lattimore, but you got to talk about Quan Martin as well. He's really he's a guy, of course, Mikey Sandstrill, but Quan Martin, man, he is really grown into his position there. And so I'm excited to see what we have seen out of Quan Martin during preseason. Now, things that I am disappointed in. I'm disappointed in Terry McLaurin not showing up for the game last night. I don't think that there was any reason why that he should not have been there. It doesn't matter about this whole thing with the contract disputes and whatnot. He should have been there to support his team. I was disappointed. That's probably the first time that you would hear me say, I wasn't feeling you, man. I wasn't feeling Terry McLaurin. Why was he not there? Mr. Trey, on the other end for the Bengals, he was there. And yes, there's been this whole thing about him being traded. And, people feel like he's not going to be with Cincy at the start of the season. But yet, guess what? He traveled with the team. He was there on the sidelines. He was talking to his fellow players. He acted as if, I'm still part of this team, still part of it. Until the Bengals do trade me, I'm here. And I just appreciated that quite a bit. Did not appreciate the fact that Terry McLaurin was not there with his team. Should have been that. Should have been there. Because I do think the team needs him. But I think it honestly sent the wrong message. And I'm not going to get into a whole debate on trading him or not. We've already talked about that ad nauseum. I'm just going to say that this didn't really prove your case much, Terry, by not being there. You should be there for your team. I think he already realizes he's probably not going to get, at least not from the Commanders, he's not going to get what he's asking for. He's probably not going to get that from any other team as well. So, be happy that they're willing to extend the contract. I mean, shoot, I still think a range between 28 and 30 million is probably where we're going to land at. And he just needs to get out there. I think he's hurting his team by not. So overall, for the most part, there were a lot of really good things to look at last night for the Commanders. I'm excited. I'm not nervous. I know for a little bit, there was some Commanders insiders who were like, things are not quite right. Things are not quite good. And last night seemed to just kind of, especially when we saw that first drive by the Commanders and then, the next drive where we saw a lot of the running game and things like that. And we saw a lot of Jayden Lane catching passes and I just felt like overall Commanders going to be okay, regardless of what this Terry McLaurin thing might be. I think you're going to see a solid team, a team that's going to push for a championship. I think you got a quarterback who's ready to not only have a good season, but an even better season than what he had last year. I think when it comes to the receivers, you're going to have some guys. I think overall, you're going to wind up seeing Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, hopefully Noah Brown if he ever comes back healthy, Jayden Lane. One guy, I did the video on that I haven't mentioned because he wasn't targeted at all last night, is, of course, Luke McCaffrey. Yeah, not sure what his purpose on the team is going to be. And I think people are starting to realize there's no purpose for him. He's not being targeted. Now, is that because that he's not running good routes and getting open? Could be. But I think he missed his window of opportunity. I know he was sick last week, but no catches this week. I don't see how he makes the team. I think he's getting cut. I think you're going to have guys like Jayden Lane making the team. And I think we're going to roll with that. I think you're going to have some good receivers. You may not have the best depth, but you're going to have some solid receivers there at the top. So, folks, game 2 of the preseason. Did you watch it last night? What'd you think of it? I was happy for the most part. I mean, yeah, I wasn't happy that they lost, but I'm not worried about scores when it comes to preseason. I'm worried about what did I see out of our guys that we're going to see more times than not during the season, our starters, our guys who have heavy rotation coming off the bench, guys who are going to put in a lot of quality minutes. What did I see out of those guys? I thought I saw a lot of really good things. So there you go, folks. Game 2 is in the books. We got one more game left, and that's against the Ravens. And then, guess what? We are ready for the regular season, and I'm so excited about that. Hey, if you enjoyed the content of this video, please give it a like, give it a share. And certainly, if you're enjoying this channel, please consider subscribing to the Washington Football Maniacs. Support us any way you possibly can. I do plan on expanding this podcast out past YouTube. And so, maybe there will be times where you would rather just kind of listen to it on a Spotify spodcast. Yeah, you want to listen to me struggle with the English language, don't you? It's funny you mentioned. It's funny I mentioned that. I just have to say this before we leave. It's funny. I have these people. God bless them. They love commenting me on my grammar. And yes, I am not the best with grammar. I try to be, but I tell you, man, when I get very tired and exhausted, I work a full-time job. This is part-time for me. And so sometimes when I get in front of the camera, I am exhausted. And when I get exhausted and tired, I can't really concentrate on speaking correctly. And that's when you need to speak correctly, is when you're in front of the camera. And so I will say certain things and then people call me out for it. At first I look at it as like, don't you have something better else to do? Why do we have these grammar Nazis and things like that? But then I'm like, they're probably right. I didn't say that correctly. I know someone called me out for mispronouncing John Kim's last name. I said John Kim. I also have a little bit of an accent, so yeah, sometimes it just seems to it feels easier to pronounce certain things the wrong way. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not perfect, but you know what? Nobody's perfect, but we all have fun, right? And hope you had fun watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Let's go, Maniacs. And hell.